First crit of the year, and I'm dropped. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? We're back again in Central Arkansas. This is race number 1 of the 3-race River Port Crit series put on by CARVE. And this location is special because it's literally right around the corner from my job. I rode out here a lot in my early cycling days, like on my lunch break. But yeah, let's get into it. This is my first year as a Cat 4. This is the B race, which is a mixed field of Cat 3 and 4. And sitting on the starting line with guys that I've looked up to for years is vomit inducing, no less, but whatever. You got to make it do what it do. Off the starting line, I struggle to get clipped in, of course, but it's all good. I did not want nor need to be in the back. And I'll get to where I am with my fitness a little later. To my right here is Mark Ferguson with Pinnacle Velo. He's actually the reason, Mark's actually the reason why I'm on a bike right now. We work for the same company. Back in the day, he would ride his bike like every day at lunch. And I just started asking him questions. I actually built my first real road bike using a lot of Mark's hand-me-downs, and he was super cool, super generous, and he was an accomplished runner that made the transition to cycling. So he's a strong dude, and for me to be on the course with him right now it's like, yo, what am I doing here? It's crazy. But I have no illusions here. I'm just here to do my very best and have a good time, be safe, and learn the craft. Okay, so circling back to my fitness, let me tell you, since most of you watching this are my friends, I'll let y'all in on kind of what's been going on with me this year, sprinkling some excuses here and there. You know how we do it. This year has been really busy for me. I have a lot going on at work with a major system change. And during this time, I also started taking a course and studying for a certification for my career advancement. But I was also very much committed to the bike, and I didn't want to sacrifice my fitness. I actually tried to build during this time, build fitness, and I was doing mostly indoor work on the trainer so I could listen to lectures while I trained. And I missed out on a lot of good outdoor rides with my friends, trying to do this. But in order to do all this, I couldn't waste time. I was either working, studying, spending time with family, or training, or a combination of all of it sometimes. And I was training about 8 to 10 hours a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. And sometime around late March, early April, when I was actually late March, mid to late March, it kind of all caught up with me, and I started experiencing symptoms of overtraining. And let me tell y'all, overtraining is real. You don't have to train crazy intensities or crazy hours. Stress is stress. Your body only knows stress. So, but it's no joke. I went through it for about 5 or 6 weeks, and I had like severe insomnia and words can't express how terrible it is laying in the bed at 3 a.m. in the morning with your eyes wide open and you can't sleep. And when I did manage to fall back asleep, I would wake up every hour during the night. Then I would finally start getting some good REM sleep, about 30 minutes before my alarm clock would go off for work. And then I had to do it all over again. And I was pretty much sick every day with like a headache, stomach ache, just about every day for over a month. And I was stuck in this horrible cycle thinking that I could work out enough to tire myself enough to go to sleep at night. And through all of this, I was still stubborn. I was still training, trying to bargain with this hole that I was digging myself in. And I started learning a little bit more about what I was doing. And towards the end of April, I started sleeping better. I did a lot of work on my sleep hygiene. I now have a sleep tracker. I also got into PMC, performance management with Training Peaks to sort of manage my training load and fatigue a little better. I did Crosswinds Classic at the end of April, but still wasn't feeling that great. And I'm actually surprised I lasted an hour with that group with the rolling hills and all. But yeah, it was an ordeal. It was an ordeal that I went through. Sometimes you have to bump your head repeatedly, I guess. But I say all this to say, fitness-wise, I'm really no fitter than I was last year. But I learned a lot through this ordeal. I feel like I've turned the corner now. I feel good now, but my mind still won't let me dig too deep, if that makes sense. But yeah, I can easily see how someone could like inadvertently dig themselves into a hole so deep that it take years to fully recover. I get it. Like it exponentially becomes one step forward, two steps back type of situation. And it's kind of hard to believe someone would go through all this just for something they're not getting paid to do. But passion is a crazy thing. But anyway, it's all good. I'm back, feeling good, and I'm excited to race. So here we are. All of that out of the way. My goal in this race was to be as efficient as possible. I could not really get a reading on the wind, so I was kind of all over the place. No strategy there. The course was technically open, which means the yellow line rule was in place. Cars could come through. They might. People were still coming in to park. You had to cross the course to come into the parking for the race. And there are it's in an industrial area, so cars were leaving as well, coming and leaving and going to work, whatever. So yeah, the yellow line rule was in place, but for the most part, we had plenty of room to move up in position if we wanted to. It's just something we had to kind of be conscious of. I really wanted to stay towards the front and give myself some slipper room so that when the surges came, I didn't have to put out massive watts out of every corner. I could just slip back in and let the gaps close themselves. At least that's what we discussed at the team meeting. And by team, I mean me, myself, and I. But speaking of teams, in this race, I believe there are 3 teams. Pinnacle Velo in the green, Arkansas United in the blue, and MB out of Memphis is in the red, white, and blue. So basically, this is their race. I'm just a pawn in their upgrade points. But yeah, there were attacks here and there, and I thought I would at least be able to hold on to some part of the group with the course being as flat as it was, but the corners were square, not sweeping like North Shore. So carrying corner speed required quite a bit of skill. Being able to pedal through corners, stuff like that really matters. I see Jason posted something on Strava. He clipped this, had a pedal clip in Fayetteville a few weeks ago, and that's in my head. But no, it's all good. It's all good. That's just one of the things you have to learn with the racing, and hopefully you can learn it without it being catastrophic. But yeah, pedaling through corners, stuff like that, that really matters. And while, yeah, I was hurting, I don't feel like I was maxed out. And if I'm being honest, I just let the competition get in my head. I was just too worried about how badly the next 8 corners is going to hurt when I should have just been focused on the race right in front of me. At this point, the pack had come back together. So right here on the front straight is where things go left for me. I'm already in the hurt locker, and then we bunch up, and then there's an attack off the front. And in hindsight, I should have just kept on the power, kept my strategy, and moved up right here. But I was too busy trying to recover to get my heart rate down a little. And then, of course, following the slowdown is the accordion effect. And for some reason, I thought I had more slipping room than I actually had, and I ended up slipping off the back of the pack. And there was another rider coming up behind me, a big guy from MB Racing, super strong. I believe he went on to win this race, just literally walked off and checked out. It's crazy. But he was coming up behind me, so I thought I would be okay to let him carry me back to the pack. Little did I know he was an absolute monster, and I ramped up to almost 500 watts, thinking I can, slide in. But he cruised past me like I was standing still. So, come on, Frank. Get up there, Frank. Get up, get up. And well, you know how it goes. Nothing left here. There was nothing left in the tank. But yeah, this was the end of my race. This was the end. And anyway, that's just how my race went. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't sketchy. I'm pretty comfortable with the pack, and I'm feeling good. I'm still optimistic. Yeah, that was my first race as a Cat 4. But I do know that my skill and fitness will continue to improve. I plan to race as much as I can this year, and I'll be back here for the next 2 Sundays. Then we have the Big Bear Crit Series in Conway. I think it's the middle of the week, which is super cool. I'm super excited about that. And also, I hope to make some races in Memphis. Those guys are really cool for coming down to ride with us. If you want to see more of this race, check out Elijah's video. I'll put a link in the description to this video. And yeah, that's what we're going to make it do. We're going to do it again, and we're going to keep coming back. So yeah, until next time, y'all. Peace.